So what I wanted to do to really kick off is just try and create more of a foundation of our understanding of where the opportunity for generative AI is today, and then specifically how does that relate to Copilot for Microsoft 365. Microsoft did some really good work with the Tech Council of Australia going back, this is back to the end of 2023, so a little bit of time ago, back when ChatGPT was really coming onto the scene and making a huge impact. But what they wanted to find out through their research is where is the impact of generative AI going to strike Australia in particular and really start to make some differences in our economy. Unsurprisingly, they're finding through a couple of different metrics. So whether we slowly adopt AI or whether we really embrace it, what are the tangible benefits we're going to see? And overall, there's an opportunity to increase the productivity or the GDP within Australia's economy by $45 to $115 billion in total. I think last time I looked, that was sort of a 2 to 3% increase, which is pretty staggering just through the introduction of one piece of technology from the overall size of the Australian GDP. Where we start to see these impacts, though, just to kind of make a bit more meaning in these numbers, is through increasing our productivity as individual contributors and improving the quality of our work. That's where we're starting to see the vast majority of the opportunity, which I'll hopefully provide some clarity on today. Whilst there is also a bit of commentary around people being a bit anxious about AI impacting their jobs or impacting the growth of new businesses, what this study did find is that whilst it isn't the main focus of some of the outcomes of generative AI on the economy, it isn't displacing or it isn't decreasing the amount of jobs that are within the economy. It's actually providing a small incremental increase. So whilst there may be some movements across the board as far as where those investments are made, we're actually seeing a net increase in the new jobs and in the new business growth and creation that we're seeing from generative AI. So hopefully dispelling some of those myths there. But the devil's in the detail. We want to actually see how this starts to make a difference in businesses day to day and how we can increase our productivity and the quality of our work is the main way that we can get started there. But if we look at the size of this opportunity, obviously it's a massive opportunity in Australia and globally. We saw that ChatGPT made a really impressive first impact as far as generative AI in general. So what we saw within the first 3 months of ChatGPT coming onto the scene, they actually hit 100 million users within that period of time. Whilst it's difficult to speak in this amount of users and try to compare it effectively, if we look back at other incremental points or inflection points of technology over the past 20 years, it took mobile phones, I think, 15 years to hit 100 million users. It took even Facebook about 3 or 4 years to hit 100 million users. And if we think about sort of free social media platforms. So the fact that we've got a piece of technology that is new, it has a business application, and it's getting 100 million users that quickly is just showing how the adoption of generative AI and the usability is really a lot lower than the learning curves of other pieces of tech that we've seen come into our workspaces over the past while. It's now extended to such a degree that now the latest study I saw was about 50% of internet users globally have used generative AI in one way, shape, or form, which if we think about that over a 24-month or 36-month journey, that's a huge rate of adoption if we compare it to any other piece of tech that people are probably adopting. So unsurprising, if we think about this productivity increase, if we think about the way that it can improve our work and the amount of people that are using it organically, it's going to be a top priority for our businesses. So 83% of businesses say that AI is a top priority. But then there is a bit of concern or a bit of good question that we need to ask about. Only a small amount of businesses say that they have some kind of plan for AI adoption. So this is where we really want to make sure that you're reaching out to Matt and the team on saying, if we are looking to adopt AI, we know that it's being used generally anyway. How do we make sure that we're doing that securely within our business? How do we know that we're looking after our data and making sure the work that we're doing is protected and the value of our data is safe as well?